Is there a time in your life when you feel like you're just floating? As the clock strikes midnight on New Year's Eve, you imagine yourself breaking bad habits and making new ones. This time is different, you tell yourself. I'm going to stick to my guns this time. In the same place as when you began. What steps can you take to become the person you've always wanted to be? What are some effective methods for overcoming bad habits and developing new ones? The solutions can be found in Atomic Habits by James Clear. We'll go over habit loops and visual summaries on this video. Dopamine production is boosted. Priming in the natural setting. Moreover, check out my video at the end to see how I got better with my own habits and how you can do the same. Let's get started. Imagine flying from New York City to Los Angeles on a commercial airline. The plane is positioned at an angle of 3 degrees, or 80 inches, prior to takeoff. If you flew straight, you'd arrive in Tijuana before you arrived in Los Angeles. Habits are a lot like each other. It takes years to notice the effects of even the smallest shifts in our daily routines. In either direction, you are defined by your habits. Habits of the nuclear age. You can change your life's trajectory simply by changing your daily habits. Massive gains compared to a 1% increase. We tend to believe that massive success necessitates a massive amount of effort. Other people will take notice of the significant progress we expect to make. Tiny changes, even if they aren't noticeable at first, can have a big impact. Let's get back to our math studies. For a year, a 1% improvement per day equals 38 times better. Every day, for the entire year, you're 1% worse off than you were before. Bad habits can contribute to feelings of anxiety and depression as well as a lack of positive self-talk. A person's productivity, abilities, and connections can all accumulate over time. Habits are more important than one-time events when it comes to success. Indications of progress were made. When you begin a new project, this is what you should expect to happen. Straightforward. That's what I'm hearing. Here's where it gets interesting. At first glance, it may not seem like much has changed. The Valley of Disappointment is a term coined by James Clear. You're incredible. So much effort for such a small reward. In this situation, most people revert back to old habits. Compounding's most potent outcomes necessitate perseverance. Match results. Goals for versus. In place of goals, concentrate on systems. Systems are responsible for implementing results-oriented processes. Conventional wisdom advises people to set specific, attainable goals in order to get fit, build a successful business, and spend more time with their loved ones. Is it possible to achieve your goals if you only focus on the system you use? According to the author, that's what he believes. Having goals isn't the only issue. People who are successful and those who are unsuccessful share the same aspirations, and this makes it impossible for success and failure to be separated. A goal has a short-lived impact on your life. Goals can be one of two things. It's either a success or a failure. It doesn't matter if you're making progress. If you achieve your goal, what happens next? It is likely that your motivation will wane and that you will revert to your old habits after completing a marathon. It is systems, not goals, that move us forward. Compulsion's atomistic. The problem isn't with you, it's with your habits. Unless you change your system, you'll keep doing the same thing over and over again. Over time, small routines and behaviors become more and more entrenched in our daily lives. As a result, minor improvements are often overlooked. As atoms build molecules, atomic habits build remarkable results, as the saying goes. This is a three-step process. The first step is to alter the outcomes, which has the corresponding consequence. Loss of weight, completion of a book, and the triumphant conclusion to a season. Achieve your goals and objectives. Second, there is a shift in the way things are done. Doing. A new exercise routine and daily reading habit. Changing one's identity is the third. Credo. Your worldviews and perceptions of yourself and others. To change your habits, focus on the person you want to become rather than on the outcome. To become a musician, not just a musician of instruments. But not a marathoner, merely someone who runs. When the goal becomes a part of who you are, your actions shift. It's important to keep your reputation intact when you say, "I'm a runner." Note: when you work out, you're a professional athlete. Every time you write a line of code, you're a coder. A leader's primary responsibility is to provide guidance and direction to those under their care. Repetitive behaviors. In the long run, practice makes perfect. A problem-solving habit is what we want from our habits. Habits are formed and reinforced through a cycle of feedback. Cue plus craving plus response plus reward. Improved feedback loops play a critical role in the development of long-term habits. Ring. Craving. Who was it that sent the text? I'll get back to you as soon as I can. Reward. Who had the audacity to send me a text? Cue. There is a lack of progress in the work. Craving. Are you looking for a way to decompress? Response. Check your social media accounts. Reward. Angry feelings have been reduced. Over time, cues become linked to positive reinforcement. Using social media while at work can result in a mental lapse. As a result of Facebook, Instagram and YouTube may both be influenced. Your mind-numbing cue is a time sucker. Repeating habit loops strengthens and automates them, making them more ingrained. Cues can take many forms. People, places, sights, sounds, etc. Consider the daily triggers that lead to good or bad habits. What can we do to change our habits? This video teaches us how to do so in 4 ways. To be more precise, most of your current habits are ingrained in your brain. Before you can begin to change your habits, you need to be aware of what they are. Using the habit scorecard is a good place to start. Track your daily habits on a scorecard from the time you wake up until the time you go to sleep. Scorecard here. If a habit aids you in achieving your ideal self, then it is classified as either positively, plus, or negatively, dash, equals. We're just taking note of what's going on around us for the time being. If you don't make the unconscious conscious, you'll keep calling it fate. Jung. When it comes to habit formation, vagueness is a problem. People's inability to maintain a habit is not due to a lack of willpower, but rather to a lack of direction. One day I'll get in shape is a nebulous goal that will do nothing to spur you onto actual fitness. Time and location are required. Goals can be achieved at any given time and in any given location. Make a plan of action. I'm going to behave here. Incorrect is the statement, I'll read more this month. For example, I'll read for 15 minutes in the spare bedroom every morning at 6 a.m. Starting a habit by stacking them is another option. This is a formula for stacking habits. After current habit, I'll start new habit. After brushing my teeth, I'll take 5 minutes to stretch. Spend 10 minutes meditating after brushing your teeth, then plan your day and check social media. Maintaining a chain of habits will be easier if you do this. Decide on the best starting point. Setting the off cues. A habitual action like waking up, turning off your alarm, or brushing your teeth can serve as a trigger. James Clear thinks that motivation is overrated. The way an environment is designed has an impact on how people behave. Our surroundings have a greater impact on us than our own will or motivation. It's difficult to develop healthy habits when you're surrounded by negativity. Human behavior is shaped by the environment. Your environment, home or work, needs to be redesigned in order for your good and bad habits to be clearly defined. Promote the consumption of water by making cues to this behavior both visible and obvious. The best place to put water bottles is where you can easily access them. More? If you want to become a better player, don't hide your guitar. In order to get a better sense of what's going on, people's behavior is influenced by how they perceive and interact with their surroundings, not by the objects themselves. Stop seeing things in your environment as discrete objects. Think of a place that is awash in love. In the living room, one person spends an hour a night reading. After a long day at work, they come home and unwind with a movie on Netflix and a slice of pizza. Working on the couch may be difficult if you use it as a place to unwind. Make separate areas in your home for different activities. The author lives by the motto, one space, one use. An effective method of quitting bad habits is self-discipline. One of the best ways to get rid of bad habits is to make them unnoticeable. Take it out. Put your phone in another room if you're having trouble concentrating. Remove or hide junk food if you're trying to lose weight. Second law of attraction. When we expect a reward, we take action. Repetitive, rewarding actions become habitual when they are practiced over and over. The first step is to make good habits more enticing. Dopamine has a wide range of effects on the body. Feedback loops and dopamine, We are more motivated when we have enough dopamine in our system. Motivation is boosted by the release of dopamine, a neurotransmitter. Dopamine measurements allow researchers to pinpoint the source of a craving. Dopamine, which was previously thought to be only for pleasure, is now known to play a critical role in motivation, memory, learning, punishment, and voluntary movement. Gambling addicts experience a dopamine surge prior to betting, rather than after a successful outcome. It's fascinating to watch dopamine surges. Tobacco, junk food, and social media are all high in dopamine and easy to become addicted to. Dopamine is also released when we anticipate pleasure. Planning a vacation. Planning a vacation can be as much fun as actually going on one. Dopamine is boosted by looking at junk food, but not by eating it. Addicts' dopamine levels rise when they see drugs, not when they take them. Famine is a powerful motivator. In order to keep our habits interesting, we need to think of ways to reward ourselves. This time, use the compulsive behavior. The combination of a need and a desire makes a habit more enticing to form. Netflix and working out could be combined, something you need to do. Temptation bundling is guided by Premack's principle. Premack's principle states that more probable actions reinforce less probable actions, which is consistent with the theory. To put it another way, if you're able to do something else that you enjoy while exercising, you'll be more likely to do so. Make a difference in a group. A lot of us live our lives thinking, what will other people think of me? And adapting our behavior in response. We are shaped by the people we spend the most time with. Try to join a community where the new habit is accepted. To become fit, surround yourself with fit people. To read more, join a book club. Motivating factors that originate from the earliest stages of human evolution. The source of cravings. To say that you need this pizza to survive is out of the ordinary. Cravings on the surface are a sign of things to come. Our actions are guided by these motives. Motives include energy saving, H2O, and nutrition. Procreation and love are inseparable. Relationship building, approval from other people. Confidence building, achieving notoriety. Cigarettes, Instagram, and video games aren't part of your brain's natural evolution. Rather than inventing new motivations, online platforms and products use existing human motivations to entice us. Your behavior is a modern response to a need that dates back thousands of years. There have been new transgressions. The nature of man does not change. Users of Facebook and Tinder have different goals. Facebook users want to stay in touch with friends and family, while Tinder users want to find a partner and start a family. Google reduces the uncertainty. Social acceptance can be found on Instagram. Reprogramming the brain to enjoy difficult habits. Hard habits can be made more appealing if you associate them with a positive experience. You can make a habit more appealing by focusing on its advantages. Fitness, not exhaustion, is the real goal. You get both peace of mind and time back if you hire a professional to clean your home. Investing is a means to achieving financial independence rather than a means to suffering. However, these mindset shifts aren't magical, but they can change how you feel about habits or situations. It's time to make it unappealing. If you want to break a bad habit, do the same thing but emphasize the advantages of not doing it. The third rule is to keep things simple. At what age do people begin to develop new habits? Habitual behavior occurs when it is practiced over and over again. As you perform the same task over and over, your brain adapts to become more efficient. Long before neuroscientists studied it, repetition was well known as a habit-forming tool. Neuronal pathways are activated when we engage in a habit. It's a mistake to think of the formation of habits in terms of time. The use of repetition counts as recommended. Reducing friction, effort is minimal. Less opportunity means more energy. A daily reading goal of 1 page is doable. Simpler habits tend to be more prevalent. The more difficult the task, the more opposition you will encounter. To get to the gym, you'll have to make a 20-minute detour. It will be easier for you to get to and from the gym if it is close to where you live. You're more likely to maintain good habits if you make it easier to do so. Reducing friction is a better strategy than trying to fix it. The friction between good and bad habits must be increased in order to create better ones. See you on part 2.